Our I-129F fiancé application has been denied. Now what? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. Fiancé cases are tricky. These are situations where a U.S. citizen has met a foreign national and that foreign national is overseas. You would never file a fiancé petition for someone inside the United States. A fiancé petition is technically a non-immigrant visa that gives the foreign national the ability to come to the United States, to spend up to 90 days in the United States to decide whether or not to marry the U.S. citizen who sponsored them for the I-129F. And if they get married, they can then apply for adjustment of status. So this is also called the K-1 visa, the K-1 or the I-129F. That application is filed with USCIS, and USCIS typically approves I-129Fs at a pretty high rate, especially if you can show that you've been in each other's physical presence in the last 2 years and that you have an intention to marry upon arrival in the United States. So once you have that evidence that both the petitioner and the beneficiary plan to get married and that they've met each other face to face, most likely USCIS is going to approve an I-129F. Now, the problem often comes not so much at USCIS, but rather at the embassy. So at embassies around the world, consulates are sort of on high alert for 90-day fiancé situations where a fiancé may be marrying someone just to get a green card. This could be because of an age gap, cultural differences, religious differences, just the prejudices of the immigration officer. But we get contacted very regularly, both here and on our Immigration Answers show, by immigrants who've been waiting for their K-1 visa to get issued by the embassy. They're like, Jim, USCIS approved the I-129F, but now the embassy won't give me that visa. What should we do? And we had someone on the Immigration Answer show just today, very sad that his same-sex I-129F with a 32-year-old age gap between them didn't get approved. And so he's wondering, what should I do? And so we get that question a lot. What do you do when the fiancé case has either been allowed to expire by the State Department or sent back for possible revocation, or basically the embassy just doesn't give the visa? What do you do? Well, our go-to answer in those situations are most likely filing another fiancé case isn't going to do it. And you might need to demonstrate a little bit more seriousness and submit some more evidence and develop more evidence of the relationship. A lot of times people will meet each other for 5 days and then file a fiancé case, and USCIS is not that impressed. Now, if while that case has been pending for the last year and a half, the U.S. citizen has gone overseas and met the foreign national 3 or 4 more times, and there's a lot more of a history than if they were to get married, which is what most likely we're going to answer. If you still want to go through with this, if you still want to bring your spouse here or your fiance here, you're going to have to get married and do it as a spouse. That's what we tell them. You're going to have to start over. It's a bitter pill. All that time wasted, all the time with USCIS, all the time with the embassy. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but that's really the only route. If you and your spouse want to be together and you want to be together in the United States, then the only way you're going to be able to be with your partner is to go ahead and get married and file that I-130. You're going to want to submit more evidence. You're going to want to show that you're adamant about being together in the United States. You're going to have to overcome any predilections that the USCIS or the National Visa Center or the embassy have that your marriage is solely to gain an immigration benefit. You're going to need a whole lot more evidence, and you're going to have to satisfy a future consular official that the marriage is real. Now, they will take it a little bit more seriously because you went ahead and gotten married, but still at the end of the day, they're going to be suspicious. And the fact that your fiancé case was denied is probably a strike against you. So it's an uphill battle. I wouldn't tell anybody, oh yeah, just go ahead and get married and that's a slam dunk, you're going to get approved. You still have all the same problems that you had before, but now you're going to have to go ahead and file a stronger case. And I think the best way to do that is to let things settle down and make sure that the U.S. citizen is going back regularly to see the foreign national. This is, of course, another way that USCIS and the State Department screw poor people. Not everybody can afford to go overseas and see their spouse. But I think that these cases can be won. We've had many cases in the office that started out maybe as a fiancé case denial filed by another lawyer or by the clients without a lawyer. We take over the case, we get them married, we file a stronger case, and we're able to get that visa approved. But at the end of the day, if that fiancé case has been denied, you have an uphill battle, and it's definitely not a sure thing that an I-130 will work. But at that point, it's your only option. If you have questions about this, or you want to hire our firm to help you with a fiancé case or a spouse case, or if your fiancé case is taking too long or your spouse case is taking too long and you want to sue the State Department, give us a call, 314-961-8200. Email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Be sure to join us in our Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join us. We have thousands and thousands of members in there talking about the immigration process every single day. We also have our YouTube channel, which is where this all started. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find our Immigration Answers live show on the Facebook group and on YouTube. And you can come on and ask me a question. I get on there 3 or 4 times a week trying to answer as many immigration law related questions as I can. Finally, if you want to get in the waiting room and be able to ask me a question, just text the word SHOW, SHOW, to 314-470-3300, and you'll get alerted whenever we're going to go live. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that my daughter Noor is in charge of our TikTok channel. We're over 106,000 followers on TikTok, and we'd love to have you follow us there as well. That's where I sort of let my guard down, act a little silly, and tell good immigration stories. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.